A very good evening to everybody under the sound of my voice, and welcome to the Afia Sports Preview Square on Afia TV. It is great to witness once again another weekend. This is the first weekend in the month of June, and we are really pleased to be here once again on this wonderful day, the 5th day of the month of June, the year of our Lord 2026. Welcome, guys. I hope you're planning to celebrate this weekend and enjoy it responsibly. You know what responsibility is. I want to assume you do, because most of you are adults who know what to do, when to do it, and why you should do it in the first place. But hey, I'm not policing you around. All the same, enjoy your weekend responsibly, but you start the weekend this way on the Afia Sports franchise, particularly the Afia Sports Preview Square on Afia TV. The frequencies are locked and loaded. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 17 Go TV, and Channel 748 Free TV. Welcome, guys. My name is CC Emechebe. I'm popularly known as CC the Rabbi, and I have a very special guest today. You know, this is her debut on the Afia Sports franchise, and she is somebody who brings a lot to the table. I'm sure you're going to expect some things from her. I want you to just stay tuned, because the person we're going to listen to right now is passionate about sports. She is you heard that right. She's a sports commentator, a sports pundit, and also a content creator. You know, really, whenever you want sports to sell and sports to get into the market, you need people who create content in the world of sports, and we need more of them. And we have somebody who's been in this for quite a while, who enjoys it, not just as a pastime, but as something that she has passion for. I want to introduce to you, making her debut on the Afia Sports franchise, particularly the Afia Sports Preview Square, Kema Canada Okolo, the beautiful Kema. Good to have you, Kema.
Good, thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to be on the show. Thank you so much.
It's great. You know, this is your debut, and just relax. Yeah. You know, we don't buy it here on Afia Sports, really.
I know.
But just out of curiosity, I don't know if I should have asked you this question off the camera, but I don't know if it's okay to ask you this question.
Okay.
Why Canada? How is Canada your? Okay, is it a vision that you have of I almost sang that song. Good. I said, oh my, no, I won't sing that song. No. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, why Canada? Where did the name Canada come from?
My dad, man. My dad is very English person, English. So he has been to UK before.
Yeah.
So I think the day he returned from UK, I was born that day. So he was like, Canada. Going to give me Canada, because that's like his favorite country.
Okay,
so he named me Canada. So that's how I got that name from my dad.
That's lovely. That's really wonderful. And you see yourself going to Canada for
Definitely, by God's grace.
Now, it would have been amazing if you had been in Canada, maybe going on the plane to Canada, United States of America, Canada and Mexico. That would have been like a dream come true for this World Cup.
Oh.
But Nigeria no day now.
No, it will be fine. We'll go there.
Yeah, we'll go there.
There's still more World Cup to come, definitely.
Yeah, but let's start with building this team to get to that World Cup, the next one, which will be the centenary edition of the FIFA World Cup 2030. And that's going to take place in, Morocco, Spain, and Portugal. That's the Iberian Peninsula. Then also there's going to be some memorial games, not really memorial games, commemorative games that will take place in Argentina and Uruguay. That's going to happen in 2030, marking 100 years of World Cup glory. We'll see that. But we're focusing on the World Cup. But first of all, let's start from the headline news. We have, first of all, Rangers International. We are proud to tell you that the Flying Antelopes, Rangers International of Enugu, hosted a very massive and successful trophy parade, a victory parade, where the trophy, the 9th MPFL title in Rangers history, making them the joint most successful side in the MPFL history, Nigerian Premier Football League history. It was paraded through the streets of Enugu on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, the second day of the month of June, the year of our Lord 2026. So Rangers went through the whole of Enugu, starting, of course, within Enugu Metropolis, particularly because of time, starting from the Rangers camp there, and then we moved. I was there live and direct to see what was going on, had some interviews in the Rangers camp. Everybody was buzzing, the camp was buzzing, everybody was excited. The 9th title was there, the trophy was being paraded, and then they went through that area, covered different areas in the whole city of Enugu, and then eventually landed at Okpara Square, where some wonderful words were said, and then His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Enugu State, Barrister Peter Ndubisimba hosted the team, Rangers team, and then of course the crew and the technical staff, and then of course made some promises concerning remunerations. So that was a massive victory parade, and hopefully next year we'll be having the same parade for Mission X. That is the plan for Rangers. Second bit of news, Maduka Okoye is under tremendous pressure after conceding a wonder goal against Poland. You know, Nigeria played against Poland in Warsaw. It was almost a case of Warsaw saw one was no more. But Maduka Okoye made sure that the spoils were shared. Now, apart from that, I think it's right for us to say that Maduka Okoye had a good game, a very good game, decent game, put up some very strong saves. He was immense in between the stakes there, away against Poland. So you have to give him a lot of credit. And the fact that he was competing with other players, other goalkeepers in that position, the veteran himself, Francis Uzoho, and then the newbie, that's the Wrexham goalkeeper, Arthur Okonkwo. So these were players that were on the bench. He had to be between the stakes, but he did not do his chances much good by conceding a very late goal in the 5th minute of stoppage time. But all the same, that was what happened. So he's under pressure to retain his position in the next game, which is when Nigeria is going to play against Portugal, O Seleção of Portugal in Leira, Portugal. And then Real Madrid have a new manager. That is not news to anybody. The man, the legend, the myth to many, the self-proclaimed special one years back, referring to Jose Mourinho, has returned to the Santiago Bernabeu, where he had relative success during his time dueling it out with the legendary manager Pep Guardiola of Barcelona then. But after different times that he spent away from Real Madrid, returning to Chelsea, going to AS Roma, going to Fenerbahce, and then of course going to Benfica, now he's back in the dugout. That is Jose Mourinho. But he has made 2 statement signings defensively. 2 defensive, no-nonsense players in Denzel Dumfries, the right back of Inter Milan, now right back of Real Madrid Football Club, and then also Ibrahima Konate, who was formerly the centre-back, who was a partner, long-time partner, footballing partner of Virgil van Dijk. He is now a Real Madrid player, centre-back. So that's the next bit of news there. Real Madrid have 2 defensive reinforcements there. I really wonder what's going to happen to Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. Speaking of that, that's not particularly my concern because I'm not English and I'm not a Real Madrid enthusiast at the moment. Let's go straight to what's going down. Nigeria, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who will be missing out the World Cup in 2026, which is kicking off in the next, today is the 5th, that's in the next 6 days. The World Cup is kicking off, but there will be no Nigeria. We're not going to see the green, white, green flag flying. But Nigeria has friendlies. One more friendly, which is going to be like a tune-up friendly for Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro's Portugal are going to be playing against Nigeria in Leira, Portugal, before the World Cup kicks off in full swing. And that's going to take place on the 10th of June. Nigeria locking arms with Portugal. The last time these 2 sides met, it was a bloodbath against Nigeria, 4-0, unfortunately. But we're looking at a situation where Nigeria want to try and right the wrong under a new manager.
Yeah.
The manager that was there in charge of Nigeria at the time was Portuguese. Maybe there was sentiment involved, apart from the fact that Portugal was also a strong side, captained at the time by Bruno Fernandes. This was even before the World Cup. It was a World Cup tune-up, yes. It was 4 years ago because it was before Qatar 2022. Ronaldo did not play mercifully for Nigeria, CR7. But the manager then was José Peseiro, a Portuguese. Yeah. But now we have an African manager who has shown himself to be a formidable tactician, referring to Eric Sekuchel, the Malian, Franco-Malian. Looking at this game, Nigeria had a credible draw against Poland, and the fact that that draw took place away from home in Poland on Polish soil and was almost a win for Nigeria. To what degree do you think these young men that are playing for Nigeria will be confident going into this game against Portugal, knowing what happened the last time they faced them?
I think for the Super Eagles, their game has changed since Eric Chell came in. I remember when Eric Chell came, a lot of fans were like, why would they bring in an African coach and the rest? But Eric Chell has showed himself that he's truly a great coach, a tactician, because ever since Eric Chell came in, like, we've been scoring goals. I remember during Jose Pesaro, even in the AFCON at Ivory Coast, we were playing defensive football, which actually affected us a lot of time. Because people were like, there was Osimhen, there was Lookman, why were we not scoring? At the point, we were like, is it juju or what? But no, it was just the fact that Jose Pesaro kind of football was defensive football, which did not really help the Super Eagles. But coming into Eric Chell has changed the whole thing. Like, when I'm watching Super Eagles football, I know there will be rain of goals because currently a lot of African team, they are seeing that, yes, Nigeria is actually scoring goals, and Eric Chell is really great. From what I've seen so far, I think for over 5 games, we've not lost any game. We've had a draw and wins. And for me, if Ivory Coast can win against France, who is 2 times World Cup champions, and even the the last edition for World Cup, Ivory Coast were able to, defeat France. Then I don't see any reason why Nigeria, under Eric Chell, is not able to, show us wonder against Portugal. Honestly, I believe in Eric Chell. And the fact that these boys were playing without the star players, Osimhen is not there, Lookman is not there, and they're able to deliver as well. I feel, yes, definitely Eric Chell is someone that I am very confident in with the Super Eagles.
Okay, I think I'm going to be echoing the sentiment of many when I ask for your Audacity plug. Who you get the Audacity from? But still, no, that's just a joke, because really, I think I agree with you. The boys have shown enough. They have a very solid defensive backbone that we've seen, and then there's flair up front. They are attacking. There's an attacking impetus coming from them. There are options that are available. The last game, not the last game, I think that was in the Unity Cup, the first game against Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe that Nigeria struggled to break down previously in the World Cup qualifiers, home and away. You're looking at a new boy, Femi Aziz, on his debut. He scored a brace, the first Nigerian to score a brace in 55 years for the Super Eagles of Nigeria since 1971. He scored a brace. He's a Millwall attacking midfielder stroke striker. You can see also the last game, this game we just talked about, Roland, where Paul Onuachu, who I think I'm amazed with the way the giant striker has regained his confidence and has been banging in goals. Like in Trabzonspor, rather in Turkey, he's been scoring goals and he's trying to stake a claim for this rebuild. But talking about the rebuild, that's what I want to come to now. Nigeria have the, because I like to see a silver lining in the cloud. Nigeria have the benefit of not being distracted by the World Cup. It's a silver lining. I'm looking at silver lining. Of course, as a Nigerian, I would have loved to see Nigeria in the World Cup. It's unfortunate, but if life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. If life shows you pepper, make pepper soup. So Nigeria missed the World Cup. I'm sad about that. But the silver lining, Eric Chell is tasked with the responsibility of building a new team that will be formidable and almost impregnable ahead of the next World Cup qualifiers, African Cup of Nations, which is coming, then the World Cup qualifiers in 2030. There are some players who are young, still young, and then there are some players who, by the time the next World Cup cycle comes about, they might just need to call it a day, like what William Troost-Ekong did. He retired. Ahmed Musa has not officially retired, but we know that it's not a matter of if but when. He will retire. The governor will back up and leave. We appreciate all he's done. He's been massive. But the core of these Nigerian players that are young, this blend, what do you have to say about this blend of youth and experience in the current Super Eagles team? And what would you advise Eric Chell to do to blend them? That is the old guard and then the young ones that are coming in. Look at Arthur Okonkwo we mentioned. It seems that goalkeeping department is sorted. Because he's still young. He's in his early 20s. But he commanded his presence there. Even Maduka Okoye is young, relatively young anyway, but because goalkeepers age slower than all the other outfield players. Maduka Okoye is 27 this year. So what's the future looking like, and what would you say to Eric Sekechia if you were to see him now and talk about the evolution of this Nigerian team?
With Eric Chell, I see us, going better. We are going better. And I think I would say NFF need to keep Eric Chell. Like, whatever thing he needs, like, they need to keep Eric Chell because we've seen how the Super Eagles have transformed. At a point, we became a laughing stock, like, for no reason. Like, we became a laughing stock because we're not winning games. We struggled to actually win games. But since Eric Chell came into the Super Eagles, winning games has been a bit easy for us. But it was quite sad that we were unable to, meet up with the World Cup. Assuming Eric Chell started with us from the World Cup qualifiers, we will not be saying this, we'll be in the World Cup by now. I would say that for the team, Eric Chell needs to, try to bring these players together, both the, old ones and the young players. And he's actually good with his scouting. I don't know where Eric Chell gets these players from, but he brings them together and they just produce magic. And you're like, oh, can this player actually do this? Can this player actually be this great? And that's just one thing that Eric Chell has done for the team Super Eagles. And I would say NFF needs to keep him for us. And yes, definitely the next World Cup we're going to be there.
Okay, yeah. So I want to ask now, there won't be any TV sports show apart from tomorrow anyway,
Okay.
But there won't be any TV sports show till after Wednesday when the match is played. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the scoreline? Nigeria, Portugal. In Lera, Portugal, remember.
Nigeria and Portugal, 2-1.
In favor of?
Nigeria.
You see, when we talk about the audacity plug, anyway, I'm really...
I don't see any reason why Nigeria cannot win Portugal. I see no reason why Nigeria cannot win Portugal. If Ivory Coast can win France, then we can do it. The players can do it. It's just left for them because Eric Chell has, done his own part. I feel like the players we can do it. Portugal is not undefeated. We can do it.
Remind me to nominate you as the head of Nigeria Supporters Club. We need to have a revamp because really I like to say things as I see them. But this is really great. We need to. Nigeria can do it. Yes, you can. Nigeria can do it. Super Eagles of Nigeria will make a statement and then remind the world of what they are missing in this World Cup in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. That would be fantastic. But at least we know that there's a particular national team that will not be missing the World Cup that's coming up, and that's the female national team, the Super Falcons. We're proud of Super Falcons. At the moment, they're running through a friendly, and that friendly is a double header against Senegal, the Teranga Lionesses of Senegal. The first match is taking place today. That's at the Remo Township Stadium in Ikene, the Remo Stars Stadium in Ogun State. And then the next leg is going to take place on the 8th. That is Monday, the 8th of June. And that's going to be away from home. But as we speak, Nigeria are teaching Senegal a thing or two 2-0. 2-0 is what's happening right now. Goal scored by Agbabola herself in the 32nd minute from the penalty spot. That is Asisat Oshuola, the 6-time African Player of the Year. And then Antoinette Payne, that's Tony Payne, one half of the House of Pain. They are inflicting pain on these Senegalese counterparts of theirs. And the match is currently in the, I think that should be the 60th minute or thereabouts. They are making a statement right now. It's a friendly.
Yeah.
Maybe a not so friendly because we have African rivals knocking arms with each other. There's some element of hostility that's there, because you know what? You cannot claim to be better than me. I'm going to show you that I'm better than you, that kind of thing. So, but it's still a friendly. 2-0 at this point.
2-0.
Were you expecting this from the Super Falcons?
Nigeria is winning.
Yes, Nigeria is winning.
Definitely. Like we're talking about the most successful women team in Africa, the 10th WAFCON title. And Senegal, I understand that football is improving in Africa and the world. But Super Falcons, the Senegalese are too small for the Super Falcons, honestly. The 2-0 win. I need more goals. I am expecting like 4-0.
4-0. Yes. I'll say this officially, like Kema is not nice. 4-0, but it's okay. I will take it too. I'll take 4-0. I'll take it because we have to vent our anger for not going to the World Cup one way or the other. And unfortunately, the collateral damage will involve Senegal. Let's just watch and see. But it's currently 2-0, so you're expecting 2 more goals.
Yeah, 2 more goals.
Within the next 30 minutes or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And then they'll be so traumatized, having PTSD by the time Nigeria go to visit them and then play the second part of the doubleheader. That's what we're expecting.
Yeah, definitely.
A man can dare to wish.
The Super Falcons are the powerhouse when it comes to women football in Africa. So I believe in them. Like, I cannot even say.
You made a very, very strong point, because the thing is, we know that the level, the playing ground is getting a bit level as far as sports is concerned, especially in Africa. Yeah. We've seen it in the last few editions in the African Cup of Nations, both the AFCON and WAFCON. We've seen the levelers. We've seen some so-called minnows ruffling feathers and then showing themselves. Comoros comes to mind, what they did to Ghana back-to-back. We're looking at Cabo Verde, for instance, who are now in the World Cup.
And Nigeria is not in the World Cup.
But it's a sign that African football is developing. It's a good sign. Yeah. Then in the female side, yes, I know that, like we say in this part of the world, Nkali is so obvious. It's so clear that the Super Falcons are streets ahead, if not blocks ahead of the rest of the chasing pack, because the second most successful side in WAFCON history is Equatorial Guinea with 2 wins. Nigeria have 10. Come on, I mean, if the chasm, the gap between both, it's amazing. So, Randy Waldrum, what do you have to say about Randy Waldrum? Randy Waldrum, not Randy Waldrum, I beg your pardon, Justin Maduka. Since Randy Waldrum left the Falcons, and then Justin Maduka came into the picture, and is it because he's an indigene, a Nigerian? What do you think he's doing that is different from what Randy Waldrum did? He was the assistant to Randy Waldrum then. He was one of the key lieutenants, and he's taken over very well, and then won Nigeria a WAFCON title. And Nigeria are the hot favorites at the moment to win an 11th title. But what do you think he's done differently that maybe Waldrum was not able to do? Or was it some pressure that came from some quarters that Waldrum was facing that he probably is not facing? I don't know. What do you think about the current situation?
I think for Coach Madugu is a very great coach, and I think the players, the women understand him with the way he does his own tactics. I don't think there's anything much difference from Madugu and Waldrum, but I must say I'll give kudos to the players because they are very, very, tactical. They are very, very good players, and they always put in their best. When they are called to, represent Nigeria, the Super Falcons always give in their A game, no matter the situation, no matter what it is, even though I know that sometimes you hear stories that, they've not been paid and the rest, but the players have actually shown themselves worthy, and so it makes it easier for any coach to come in. The Super Falcons are exceptional. So any coach that comes in, you are just going to blend and, success.
Wonderful. Wonderful indeed. So big congratulations to the Super Falcons of Nigeria, doing a good job there, exerting their dominance that everybody knows about in African football at the moment. 2-0. That's what it reads at the moment between the Super Falcons of Nigeria and the Teranga Lionesses of Senegal. We'll be right back after this short time out because we are going straight from Africa to other parts of the world because there is this little matter of a Mundial, the FIFA World Cup, that's coming up in 6 days' time. The countdown continues. Stick around. Don't touch that dial. You're welcome back to the Afia Sports Preview Square on Afia TV. And of course, the frequencies are still locked and loaded. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 748 Free TV, and Channel 17 Go TV. The World Cup is here again. Well, not exactly here, 6 days from now. The FIFA World Cup will be kicking off in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. And of course, the World Cup has a rich history. FIFA, since the World Cup began in 1930, of course, I can tell you the rundown. Those who don't know how many countries have hosted the World Cup, I can just give you the rundown right now. 1930 was Uruguay. That was the first edition of the World Cup in Uruguay 30, won by Uruguay. Then, of course, you had Italy, Italia 34, which was won by Italy, the hosts. Then we had France 38, won by Italy, back-to-back wins. There was no World Cup in 42 and 46 because of World War II. That's why Brazil 50 was then won by Uruguay. Then Switzerland 54 was won by the German national side, West Germany, then beating the mighty Magyars of Hungary in the final. Then in 1958, that was when Brazil announced their presence, when Pele scored a brace in that final in Sweden 58. Then in Chile 62, Brazil defended their title. And then England won their solitary World Cup on home soil, England 66. Then in 1970, Mexico 70, we also had Brazil winning the World Cup, Pele winning his third World Cup. And then West Germany 74, the host, West Germany won. Argentina 78, Argentina won the World Cup then too. Then España 82, that is Spain 82, Italy won their third World Cup. And then we had the next World Cup, which was in 86, and that was Mexico 86. Who cannot forget the late Diego Armando Maradona, who scored 2 goals, very, very different goals. The most infamous goal, hand of God, and then the most famous goal in the World Cup in the same game against England in Mexico 86, and leading Argentina to winning the World Cup. Then we had, Italia 90, where West Germany won. Actually, Germany, unified Germany now, won Italia 90. And then USA 94, Brazil won their 5th title. And they won their 4th title, I beg your pardon, in USA 94. France 98, France won on home soil in France 98 by beating Brazil in the finals. Zinedine Zidane scoring a brace. Then in Korea, Japan 2002, Brazil won their last World Cup, 5th World Cup, where Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima scored a brace in that final in a 2-0 win over Germany. Then in Germany 2006, Italy won their last World Cup. That was Zidane's last ever game. Materazzi headbutt, remember anyone? Then in 2010, Africa hosted their first World Cup, where South Africa hosted and Spain won their maiden World Cup in that tournament. 2014, Brazil tried again to host the World Cup, and then were battered and bruised by Germany in the semi-final 7-1, who went on to win the World Cup there in Brazil. Then in 2018, Russia 2018, France won their second World Cup. Kylian Mbappe announced himself on the scene there, scoring a goal as France beat Croatia 4-2 in that final. And the last World Cup, the first World Cup in the Middle East in Qatar 2022. Before you say Qatar won it, the only trophy Qatar could win was Qatar's trophy. So that they didn't win that. It was Argentina that won that World Cup. Messi finally grabbing his hands on the title, the trophy that eluded him for so long. And here we are again. The cycle has completed. And we're here, the World Cup. Now, United States of America, Mexico, and Canada. How do you feel? I don't know. What's your history with the World Cup?
The World Cup is like the biggest tournament when it comes to world of football, and it's every dream of a footballer. And the World Cup, I wish Nigeria was playing in the World Cup this time around. But I'm hoping that this World Cup is going to be interesting. Because Mexico, on the other hand, they are going to be playing against South Africa in the first game. Yes. So I believe it's going to be very, very interesting, and as well. So let's look out for how it's going to be.
Yeah, so talking about looking out, I have many World Cup memories. I have many things. I think from a Nigerian perspective, of course, I remember vividly in 1994, USA 94, when Nigeria had the first World Cup appearance. Rashidi Yekini, the late Rashidi Yekini, was on the scene. That's 3-0 mauling. The first goal scored in the World Cup was scored by Yekini in that 3-0 mauling that Nigeria handed out to Bulgaria, 3-0. And then, blasting, I think it was 4 goals past Greece, and then losing to Argentina 2-1. That final game that Maradona played eventually before he was found tested positive for cocaine. And then you see the memories of France 98, Nigeria when they're beating almighty Spain in the group stage. Then you see going down 2002, Nigeria didn't win a single game in that World Cup, but at least we had a Victor Sentenyama that showed up. Many different World Cup experiences, but unfortunately there's no Nigerian that will be in the World Cup, except people of Nigerian origin. Anyway, let's not talk about
Even the
that.
last time we appeared in the World Cup, the 2018 World Cup,
Yes.
I think it was very interesting for me.
Yeah, it was.
Watching Igalo, Mikel, and the rest.
Then Ahmed Musa, the governor, scoring a brace against Iceland.
Iceland. It was quite an interesting one. I was, hoping that we were going to qualify, and it's just sad that we've missed out on the World Cup again. But with Eric Chell, I believe we're going to.
Yeah, if they stay, if
NFF can still keep him,
yes,
definitely. Eric Chell has all it takes to take us to the World Cup.
I sincerely hope so. Really, I sincerely hope so. Yeah. But this time we're not looking at ifs, buts, and maybes. Now, looking at the World Cup, I want MCR, please do this for us. Let's look at some of the fixtures that we're going to see, the most standout fixtures. Of course, in the World Cup, we're going to see the games that will take place. The first game is going to be between Mexico and South Africa. That's the first game. Funnily enough, this first game of the World Cup was the first game exactly 16 years ago when South Africa hosted. This time it's Mexico that's co-hosting, and then they're hosting South Africa. South Africa hosted Mexico, and that was the first goal, first 2010 World Cup. Yeah. And it was Shabalala that scored that blinder of a goal in that game. I remember vividly. It was really massive indeed, massive indeed. So we are looking at the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, and then the matches in the World Cup. The first match is going to kick off by 8 p.m. Nigerian time, where Mexico, one of the co-hosts, will be hosting South Africa. And then South Korea will be playing by the early hours of the morning in Group A. And that's going to be on the next day. That's by 3 a.m. South Korea will be playing Czech Republic. Then that's Group A. Group B, we're going to have Canada hosting Bosnia-Herzegovina. That's going to be by 8 p.m. on the 12th. Then Group D, actually, I want to go to Group C. Group C, that's a very, very interesting group indeed. Not just because we have an African team there, but because Brazil, who are flattered to deceive over the years, but now under Carlo Ancelotti, they are going to be playing on the 13th, Group C, by 11 p.m. Nigerian time. They will be hosting Morocco, Brazil-Morocco, and then the next day by 2 a.m., Haiti will be hosting they'll be playing Scotland. That will be a massive game. Then if you look at Group D, we're going to have the United States of America and Paraguay. Their first game, Group D game. USA, who are the co-hosts, will be hosting Paraguay, and that will be by 2 a.m. on the 13th. Then we'll have Group E. Germany, Curaçao will be playing also. We'll also have Netherlands, Japan in Group F. And, time will not permit me to rush through these, but there are going to be some massive games. I don't know which country. Let me just get to the country before I look at the key players that will be featuring. Which countries tickle your fancy in this World Cup? Which countries for you are the favorites for the World Cup? Because I want to assume that you don't have, okay, maybe you have a favorite, but maybe there are some other favorites. Which country or countries are the favorites for the World Cup? Which country would you call maybe the dark horses, the ones to look out for that can take someone by surprise, the world by surprise? And which countries do you feel are stacked and very solid but are bound to fail? Because we've seen World Cups where teams that you look at and you wonder, these guys are very good, but they might just fall by the wayside, maybe because they are not organized and so on and so forth. Do you have any such countries in mind?
For the country that I believe will go far in this World Cup should be Argentina, honestly.
Argentina again?
Yes.
With a 39-year-old Lionel Messi?
Argentina for me, honestly. I was going to say France, but with what they played yesterday against Ivory Coast, I don't see France in that light. But at the same time, this is football. Anything can happen. Let me just say France, honestly, because Mbappe, if not for anything for Mbappe, because I don't like the fact that people are criticizing him a lot. They are saying, he's not a team player and the rest. But I want him, he should use this World Cup, to shut his critics. Let them see what he can do. Mbappe is always Mbappe, regardless of what is going on around him right now. So I would say, France. France for me is that team, because the last edition, they lost in the final. So I believe that France is going to come this time stronger for us. France, Argentina as well, like I said earlier. And also, funnily enough, I think I will not be surprised, South Africa is that team. That I see.
South Africa?
Yes, that I see that they are going to go. But if Morocco can do it, South Africa can also do it. Maybe at least get to the quarterfinals. South Africa, for me. Yes, because even though they are more of their local players are the ones there, but let's see what an African team is going to do this time.
Okay, not to be a wet blanket, but let's look at South Africa's Group A. And let's see the competition there. We have South Africa, Mexico, South Africa in Group A. And then also you have Czech Republic and South Korea. Now, South Korea, South Africa, the southern derby that happened there, but in South Korea that has a Son Heung-min, Min Jae-on, and the rest of let me even get there. I don't want to. I'm just trying to pull out a little bit of banter for my South African, my piano derby banter. That's what I'm trying to pull out. But I'm still yet to see. On the more serious note, I'm still yet to see anything spectacular about South Africa that will put them on the same pedestal as the teams that have made it to the quarterfinals. So far, African teams that have made it to the quarterfinals are only Cameroon in 1990, Senegal in 2002, Ghana in 2010. Did Algeria make it to the quarterfinals in 2014? I think they did. No. I can't really remember. Then the team that made it not just to the quarterfinals, but in semifinals in the last World Cup, Morocco.
Yeah.
South Africa have a lot of work to do in that regard. But anyway, let's look beyond that. I want us to see a few national teams and see star players, dangerous players that who might just take the world by storm in the World Cup. Let's start with Brazil. Shall we start with Brazil? Let's look at the Brazilian national team. The Seleção. Let's see what they bring to the table. Seleção are managed by Carlo Ancelotti, and then look at the Brazilian national team. If you look at that list that's there, Kema, you see that the goalkeeping department has Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper, and then Ederson, the former Manchester City goalkeeper, and then there's Weverton that's over there too. Then in defense, we have Alexandro, then Gelson Bremer, and then we also have Danilo, Douglas Santos, we have Gabriel Magalhães of Arsenal, then Ibanez, Leo Pereira, Marquinhos, a two-time Champions League winner with Paris Saint-Germain and captain with them. You have Wesley. Then in midfield, you have the evergreen Casemiro. You know him very well. You appreciate him, but no longer with Man United. You have a soft spot for Man United, but Casemiro is like fine wine that ages very well. He's shown that. Bruno Guimaraes of Newcastle United is there. Fabinho, the former Liverpool defensive midfielder. Lucas Paquetá, formerly of West Ham United. And then, of course, Danilo Santos. These are the midfielders. Then you look at the forwards. You have Endrick, the Real Madrid player who played on loan with Lyon and really dazzled there, which is why he was included in that Brazilian side. And it's clear, it seems that Jose Mourinho, who most likely is going to be the manager of Real Madrid, has plans for Endrick in that forward line with Real Madrid. You have Gabriel Martinelli, who had a decent season with Arsenal Football Club. You got Thiago, who was really very, very solid. I think the second highest goal scorer in the English Premier League. Played for Brentford. Now you got Thiago. Then you also had Luis Enrique. You have Matheus Cunha of Manchester United. You had Rafinha of Barcelona. You have Vinicius Junior of Real Madrid. You have Ryan. And then one of the most controversial inclusions there, but not really controversial because he's a national figure with Brazil. He's an icon, a talisman, Neymar. And some people say that Neymar's inclusion softened the blow of João Pedro's exclusion. So looking at those players, who is the star player or who are the star players to you, to that Brazilian side? The
star players are obviously Vinicius Junior, Neymar, of course. Neymar is one of their star players there, Vinicius Junior. If I say Casemiro now, you will not accept.
No, why won't I accept? Wait, in that midfield, Casemiro.
Okay. What you say is because it's Man United.
Not necessarily, no, but I mean, it is what it is. Casemiro is a fantastic, seasoned campaigner in that midfield, and his presence on his day when he's fit always improves any team that he steps into. His age notwithstanding. So come on, that's the truth.
I think with the squad going in this World Cup, Brazil squad is a team that is packed with so much talent and determination. So I believe that Brazil too, they have all it takes also, get to the final of the World Cup as well. With the likes of Vinicius Junior, Neymar. Neymar has to show himself this time around because this is also an opportunity for him because, like they said, fans were like, because of Neymar, and João Pedro was out of the squad. So Neymar has to show himself to us, honestly, this World Cup. So he is that player that I want to see what Neymar is going to do in this World Cup as well. Also, Vinicius Junior, he has to put in the work. Let's see what he's going to be, maybe get to the final, Brazil get to the final, because the last edition it was France. Mbappe literally carried France at his back in the last World Cup, but sadly that his teammates, I would say his teammates failed him, but it is what it is. That's football for you. But for me, Neymar has been given a chance. I want him to, work with the team and, deliver something brilliant in the World Cup.
Okay, so before we go to the next national team, look at one or two star players. In the history of the world, in the history of football, actually, not just World Cup, football, only 2 managers have ever done a double of World Cup winning manager and Champions League winning manager. The first to do that was Marcelo Lippi of Italy. He won the World Cup with Italy in 2006, but he had already won the Champions League 10 years prior with Juventus in 1996. The second manager to do that was Vicente Del Bosque. He won the UEFA Champions League in 2000 and 2002 with Real Madrid, and then won the World Cup with Spain in 2010. Now, you have Carlo Ancelotti, who is the most successful manager in Champions League history, winning 5 with 2 different clubs. 3 with AC Milan. 3 with Real Madrid, 2 with AC Milan. What are the chances that he's going to become the 3rd manager to win both the World Cup and the Champions League as a manager? I'm talking about the chances of Brazil in the World Cup.
Brazil has that chance to win the World Cup. Like I said earlier, the team is filled with so much talent. And Ancelotti is someone that is a tactician. With the players he has on ground, I feel he can make magic out of it. So, yes, there are high chance that Brazil is going to be, surprise us. Brazil is going to surprise us, with this World Cup. So it's going to be Brazil. I don't know, but they are going to surprise us.
Okay, so Brazil, over to you. We're waiting for you to surprise us. And I'm sure the remaining list will not surprise us. As we go to France, please, MCR, help us with France. The French national side, let's look at Le Bleu. What do Le Bleu bring to the table? Are they going to be blue in the face when the World Cup comes up? We need to see that list up right now in a bit so we can see the players that are called up to the French national side. Yes, you have Le Bleu. And of course, you have in the goalkeeping departments, Mike Magnan is there, and then Bryce Simba and Robin Richier. These are players that are there. Then in the defense, you have Lucas Digne and Malo Gusto, the Chelsea fullback. Lucas Hernandez and Theo Hernandez, the brothers Hernandez, they are involved in this World Cup side. Ibrahima Konate, who just moved from Liverpool to Real Madrid. And then Jules Koundé, the Barcelona defender. William Saliba, the Premier League winning centre-back with Arsenal Football Club. Dayot Upamecano of Bayern Munich. Then you have Maxime Lacroix, the Crystal Palace centre-back. Then in midfield, you have the evergreen and ever-dependable N'Golo Kante, man, somebody that you just cannot but like. No matter what your allegiance is. Then you have Manu Kone and Adrian Rabiot and Aurelien Tchouameni, who is a full-time MMA fighter and part-time footballer. Go and ask Valverde, he'll tell you. And then you have Warren Zaire-Emery of Paris Saint-Germain. He's there too. And then you have in the forward department, you have Magnus Aluche, and then Bradley Barcola of Paris Saint-Germain, Ryan Cherki of Manchester City, Ousmane Dembele of Paris Saint-Germain, Desiree Doué of Paris Saint-Germain, Jean-Philippe Mateta of Crystal Palace. Then you have Kylian Mbappe of Real Madrid, Michael Olise of Bayern Munich, and then Marcus Thuram is there too, of Internazionale. So these are players that are there in this French national side. France, 2-time finalists back-to-back, winning one in 2018, losing the other in 2022. Are they primed to become the first team since Brazil to go to 3 consecutive finals? What do you think their chances are? And this is Didier Deschamps' team. He's been there since 2012. And this will be his last World Cup before the legend himself comes in, that is Zinedine Zidane, and takes over as the manager of the French national side. What are the chances of France in this World Cup? And who are the dangerous players? Please, if you can pull out that list, we would like to see it so you can see who are the most dangerous players, the key players in this French national side that we have to look out for.
I think definitely we have to look out for Olise. Michael Olise, definitely. Michael Olise, Kylian Mbappe, like I said, because a lot is going on around Kylian Mbappe. So many criticism. I believe Kylian Mbappe will do everything it takes, to shut his critics. And also, N'Golo Kante is one person I'm going to, be watching out for. He's one key player in the French team. And as well, William Saliba is someone also we have to look out for. And as well, Ibrahima Konate is on. I feel like the French team is packed with so much, skillful players. So, in as much as yesterday they lost their friendly game against Ivory Coast, but that's friendly games. When the World Cup starts, they will now know who are the people, like which team is good. So for that is the friendly game. But going in, I believe that the French team, has what it takes to go far in the World Cup.
Okay, so separating the boys from the men, and the French national side, Le Bleu will want to do this.
Yes, definitely. Because that loss yesterday, it's kind of disappointing and embarrassing to them. I know for sure. They'll be like, well, how can we allow an African team to, defeat us? But that's football for you. I love the fact that African football has actually improved. That who would have thought that Ivory Coast would defeat France? But that's international friendly. But coming into the World Cup, France has, the players, man, from Vinicius Junior to
France. That's
French.
I don't know Vinicius, and that's Brazil. I know you like Vinicius so much. I know.
Well, I'm trying to call
Kylian
Mbappe, yes.
People like Marcus Thuram, and the rest of the
so they have those key players that can, put in the work for them to win the World Cup.
Okay, now I'm very interested in one of the matches that will be coming up for France in this World Cup. On paper, it might seem to be a revenge mission. Why do I say so? One African team just beats France yesterday, and that's Côte d'Ivoire. The last time France faced a top African team in the World Cup, to the best of my memory, was in 2002, Korea, Japan, where they were the defending champions. Senegal beat them 1-0 in that game. They are facing Senegal again. Do you think that they'll be having vengeance in their minds?
Definitely. The vengeance will be tripled because of the fact that they lost against Ivory Coast. So playing another African team, Senegal, who is the AFCON champions, I think they will have to come very prepared, honestly. They'll have to come very prepared, meeting their AFCON champions. And for Senegal as well, Senegal, they've actually improved so much in their football. Like, it's so admirable to see what Senegal are doing, not just from the senior team, even down to the under-17. We've seen what Senegal, as a football federation, is doing. So it's going to be it's not going to be an easy game between France and Senegal, but whoever wins wins. Whoever wins at this point.
Okay, so the best team will win. And you can see, of course, Senegal will have the players that are there. Like, you have people like Edouard Mendy and the Maridiao and the Yan Diouf. These are the goalkeepers there. Then, of course, Crepin Diatta, Antoine Mendy is also there. Khalidou Koulibaly, the former Napoli centre-back is there too. El Hadji Malik Diouf is there. Mamadou Sarr, Moussa Niakate, then Mustafa Mbo, and then of course Abdoulaye Seck, and then Ismail Jacobs and Ili Kamara. Then in the midfield you have Idrissa Gana Gueye, remember him, and then Papa Gueye, and then Lamine Kamara, Habib Diarra, Pathis, and then Pape Matassar, and then that's Sapoki Ndiaye, yeah. And then forward, of course, the legendary Sadio Mane is there too. And Ismail Assar, Ilman Ndiaye, Hassan Diao, Ibrahima Mbaye, then Nicholas Jackson himself, and then Bamba Deng and Cherif Ndiaye. Now, because of time, we'll take one more team, and that should be La Fuengirola, Spain. The Spanish national side, yeah, you got that right. So the Spanish national side, you're seeing there, Spain have the goalkeepers Unai Simon, David Raya. Unai Simon, of course, is of of this Athletic Bilbao, that's Unai Simon, and then David Raya of Arsenal, Juan Garcia of Barcelona. Then you have the defenders Cucurella, Grimaldo, Pau Kubasi, Laporte, that's Aymeric Laporte, then Pubil, Eric Garcia, Marcos Llorente, and then Pedro Porro of Tottenham Hotspur. Then in midfield, you have Pedri, Fabian, Martin Subimendi, Gavi, Rodrigo, that's Rodri in Manchester City. Then, of course, Alex Baena, and then Mikel Merino, who just got back from injury. And in the forward line, you have Mikel Oyarzabal of Real Sociedad, and then you have Dani Olmo. Then you have Nico, that's Nico Williams, yes. Then you have Jeremy Pino of Crystal Palace, Ferran Torres, Borja Iglesias, Vitor Munoz, and then Lamine Yamal of Barca. These are dangerous players. Who are the danger men there? I think we're running out of time. We have just 2 minutes left. Who are the danger men there, and what are the chances of La Fuenroja, the 2010 World Cup winners, in this World Cup? What do you think about that list? Is there anybody that's missing from that list that you have loved to see in? Yeah, of course, there's no Real Madrid player there. That's one thing you have to notice. But beyond that, what does that list strike terror in the hearts of opponents?
I don't really see much going on in the Spain team, in the Spain squad. I would just say maybe Lamine Yamal. Yes, this is his first World Cup, so I think he's going to, show us what he can do when it comes to the World Cup. So let's just see what Lamine Yamal can do in Spain. But for Spain, Spain is not my favorite to even win the World Cup in the first place. But whichever way, it's left for them.
Okay, that'll be very good. So that is Spain, and I think they say the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plane. And Spain, I don't know how far you're going to go, but all the same, we will talk more about the World Cup list by tomorrow. I think doing our sports show tomorrow. But I want to say a very big thank you to you, Kema Canada Okolo.
Thank you for having me. Same here. Thank you so much.
All right, good. We'll do this again some other time.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then, of course, I want to say thank you to everybody who's been a part of the success of the Afia Sports Preview Square and the Afia Sports franchise in general. I want to thank you very much. Behind the camera, the cinematographer himself, Wisdom, who's been licking his wounds. Thank you. I appreciate you for what you do, Wisdom. Yeah, you got that right. And then, of course, I want to appreciate those that are in the MCR and PCR. In the MCR, thank you very much. Jonah, thank you for what you do. And then in the PCR, Faith, you will live long. Thank you very much for what you do all the time. And then, of course, my trusted lieutenant himself is there. Emeka Maduka, the self-acclaimed piece of football, is there. Thank you for what you do too. We'll do this again tomorrow by 10:30 a.m. on the Afia Home of Sports. But till then, remain blessed. And the World Cup is around the corner. So make sure you're ready to celebrate the World Cup and watch your favorite horse in this race. I know it's not Nigeria, but come on. We just have to choose a team to support in this World Cup. Till then, remain blessed. I'm Sisi the Rabbi, signing out.